Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Youthman. Today, we've got a really cool video for you. We're going to be looking at the NAD M10 streaming amplifier with BlueOS. Now, before we jump into the video, if you are passionate about home theater, all things audio and video, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I produce weekly content that I'm sure you'll enjoy. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what you'll get inside the box. So we'll do just a brief unboxing. We'll go over the specs. I'll share with you my thoughts on the setup process, Dirac Live, as well as how it sounds. So enough talking, let's get to the unboxing. Now I do want to mention that this particular review unit has been sent to other reviewers, and so there may be some additional wear and tear on the packaging. So if you were to buy this brand new, just know that it's not going to appear exactly like it is here in this particular box. Let's go ahead and open it up. So on the top, we've just got like a little thin layer of padding. And here we have a little cleaning cloth. Right there. I'll lay that off to the side. Got another thicker pad here. Oh, nice. I like that. Now this is actually a lot smaller than kind of what I envisioned, so it's a nice size profile. It's not super huge, won't take up a lot of space in your rack. And then it looks like down underneath here, we have our accessories. So inside the accessory box, yeah, as you can see here, they're not really packaged, but we've got our 3-prong IEC power cable, calibration microphone, and oh, that's pretty cool. So this is like a little storage bag here. The M10 can either be controlled via the BlueOS operating system, or you can use the front LCD display. So inside the BlueOS, you can see I can go to my playlist. I've already set up Qobuz, which is the high resolution streaming service that I use. So we can go ahead and go through, very similar to Tidal or Spotify. And you can also use those media services as well. And as you can see, as I scroll through each one of the songs, the album art displays. Now, on the front of the panel, you can click on the menu and go to Source Setup, and I'm gonna choose BlueOS Cloud Services, and you can change this front view. Right now, I have it set to album and text, but let's say you wanna see these cool VU meters. If I click that and go back, you can see it changes to the VU meters. So pretty slick. It allows a lot of flexibility on what you want this front display to be. So as you can see, the touchscreen is very responsive. We can adjust volume there. We can change, songs. We can play and pause if you're one that likes to kind of be hands-on and touch the unit. I myself prefer the BlueOS app. It just makes it easier and more convenient when I'm sitting on my couch listening to 2-channel music. Now, one main feature of the M10 is the inclusion of Dirac Live. Simply plug in the USB microphone to the USB port in the rear of the unit, secure the microphone to a tripod, and place the mic at ear level in your main listening position. You can download Dirac Live on your computer, but I chose to use the Dirac Live app on my phone to set up and calibrate the M10. Once you open the Dirac, choose the M10 and select whether you want to optimize for a single seat or a multiple seating configuration. I chose the single seat. Hit proceed and then drag the volume slider on the right until you hear pink noise and increase it until you have the level within the green section. Due to the sensitivity of my Klipsch speakers, I found that -40 dB got me into the green and allowed Dirac to proceed without any level warnings. Click Measure and Dirac Live will begin to take measurements by playing pink noise through each speaker. Next, you'll take some measurements from 8 different locations, which are around 20 inches from your ears at the listening position. Click on any of the green circles and continue the measurement process for the remaining 8 positions. Once finished, Dirac Live will show you the measurement and a target curve of the frequency response it is trying to achieve. You can also click and drag the right slider to adjust what frequencies you want Dirac to filter, or make any fine adjustments to the curve, or leave it at the default settings. Once finished, click Calculate at the top right, then export that filter and give it a name. Now you can always go back and make other adjustments to the target curve. Click Export again and choose a second slot and give it a new name. Now once you have each one of those presets saved, we can come up here to the top, click on the menu item, and then scroll down here to Settings, and then come down to Player, and then click on Audio. And so here you can see I created 3 different Dirac Live presets. One was just my initial Dirac Live setting. The second one I applied a curtain, and the third one I increased the bass, just kind of boosted it just a little bit because I felt that Dirac Live kind of thinned out the bass a little too much for my preference. And the great thing is you can just easily switch between them by just clicking on the little checkbox over to the right, and it takes about 1 second to switch over to that new preset. And right below that we have options for tone controls, which is nice, so you can again kind of tailor it to your liking and to your ears. So if you don't see that option, just toggle that little switch right here, and then you can see the options here for treble as well as bass. If you do decide to connect a subwoofer to your setup, down here you can add those subwoofers, either 1 or 2, and set your crossover frequency. As I mentioned earlier, the M10 supports pretty much every high streaming music service out there. And so if we scroll down to the bottom, go under Music Services, and you can see here just a ton of options here. And so to set one up, all you would have to do is click on the one of your choice, insert your login and password, change some settings down at the bottom if you choose, and click Update or Log In. Now you also can tie this into Google as well as Amazon Alexa for some voice automated controls. I did not set that up with this, but know that there is that option if you choose to do that. And from the main menu, either on the app or on the unit itself, you can easily switch between your Bluetooth sources, analog inputs, coaxial inputs, or even HDMI ARC. So over the past month that I've spent with the M10, I've got to say there's quite a few things that I really like about this unit. Number one is just the aesthetics. This thing is really, really sleek looking. I think it has a classy look with the glass top and this beautiful front LCD display, and just having the ability to change that display, even based on like what you're feeling that day. Some days you may want to see the VU meters. Other days you may want to see the artwork. But regardless of your style, the M10 gives you a lot of options and flexibility in regards to that. This is one of those types of units that is really meant to be on display. This isn't a unit that you're going to want to buy and slide it in a cabinet and put it behind 2 glass doors and not really look at it. This is a unit that you're going to want to put on top of your cabinet or over, on its own little shelf that just kind of highlights and brings focus and attention to it. It's just got a really, really cool, classy, but yet modern feel to it. Another thing I really like about this, and I think it makes a good fit for somebody that just wants to have a really simple, but yet just all-in-one kind of unit. This unit, because it streams pretty much every HiFi, all your high-resolution streaming services all in one package. It's all built in with an amplifier that has a pretty good amount of power. Now granted, it's 100 watts by 2. In my setup, I have Klipsch RF73s, which are pretty efficient. So they're easy to drive. They have 4 big 10-inch woofers in them, and I was able to produce pretty good volume with those, definitely more volume that I would normally listen to, when I'm just sitting down listening to some 2-channel music. But the times that I just wanted to crank it, it had no problems cranking it. Now granted, because it's got a smaller power supply, it didn't have that bottom end slam that I'm used to with my Acurus A200, which is a 200 watt by 2 amplifier. The Acurus has a big old beefy toroidal transformer in it, and the M10 just simply isn't that. But I don't think it was designed to be that. And so for what it is, it's got a good amount of power that I think would be sufficient for most speakers. Now, this was my first experience with BlueOS, and I gotta say, I really like the way that everything's laid out inside BlueOS. It's very familiar to what you would expect from Tidal, Qobuz, just the way that it's structured, but I love how it integrates everything into it. You were able to pull in all of those streaming services through that, connected to the NAD, to be able to flip back and forth and switch easily between things like Spotify or Tidal or Qobuz, and to be able to grab all of your music from whatever platform in one simple source. Now, one of the big features of the M10 is the inclusion of Dirac Live. Now, Dirac Live allows you to do some really cool features like adjust that target curve. You can adjust the curtain, and once you're done kind of tweaking it to your liking and getting that all dialed in just the way that you want it, you can save that out as a preset. Then if you want to go back and make other changes, save it as another preset. As you saw in the demonstration, you can easily switch between those presets. That's really cool and really handy. Now, I was actually really surprised that my ears preferred, even without Dirac Live, just the way that the M10 sounded without the room correction. Just being able to adjust the treble and bass to my liking, I found that I got a really good sound, and I got really good imaging, which is where the vocals, instead of being at your speakers, you hear this center image, almost like there's a center channel, but there wasn't a center channel. It was just two speakers in stereo. And after running Dirac, it kind of took that center image and kind of spread it out further. And I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, but in my brain, I'm so used to being able to hear that locked in center image that it kind of took me out of that experience. And so my ears actually preferred without Dirac Live, and just making some really small adjustments in the treble and the bass in the tone controls. But having that flexibility to be able to toggle that on or off and to be able to really dive in and customize that is a really great feature. Now, overall, I've been very pleased with the M10. It sounds beautiful. I love the integration with the BlueOS, and overall, it's just a nice, compact, all-in-one box that allows you to stream from multiple applications. The only two negative things I have to say about it is, number one, the unit does get quite warm. So when you place your hand on the top, it's warm. When I placed my hands on the side, it got a little bit hotter. But then when I raised it up and put my hand on the bottom, that's where it was definitely pretty hot. And so there's probably not a lot of ventilation that goes underneath because of the low profile, and it generates a lot of heat as a result. And secondly, at $2,700, this unit just simply isn't going to fit everyone's budget. Not everybody's going to be willing to drop almost $3,000 on an all-in-one amplifier streaming device. Well, I hope you enjoyed the review of the M10. If you like content like this, as well as home theater topics, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I've got more videos coming this week. And as always, you guys be blessed, and we'll catch you in the next video.